Eastern.
WeatherScope.
A winter storm will keep much of the east unsettled today and tomorrow, producing everything from snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain in states to the north, to heavy rain and thunderstorms in some southern states. Good morning. I'm Marshall Cease. Welcome to WeatherScope. We've got crews on location in Maryland and Massachusetts to tell you what to expect. With all the details, here's Cheryl Lemke in our forecast center.
Thanks, Marshall, and good morning. Indeed, it's the second winter storm in 2 weeks to affect the east. Primarily, we'll be dealing with some ice and snow today across the mid-Atlantic, and that wintry mixture will be spreading across the northeast by later on tonight and tomorrow. Now, needless to say, traveling will be extremely difficult across the east today, so be really, really careful if you're going to be traveling any place around these areas. We have the weather ingredients are coming together for some ice and some snow. Some very cold air continues to be funneled down from Canada, and it's working its way through the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern corridor, while at the same time we have a low-pressure system that's working its way across the eastern lakes. And another storm system across the southeast continues to pump relatively mild and moist air up through the northeastern part of the country. So with that mild, moist air combining with the cold air that's trapped at the surface, voila, it's the makings for some ice and some snow. Freezing rain continues at this time from Greensboro, North Carolina, through the Shenandoah River Valley and parts of the central Appalachians. Still some freezing rain for Danville and Lynchburg, Virginia, up through Charlottesville, Virginia. Freezing rain, too, around Lewisburg, Beckley, and Bluefield, West Virginia. And that wintry mixture continues to invade Maryland, where right now we have some freezing rain to report at the Dulles Airfield, but we also have some rain and some sleet and some freezing rain, too, for Baltimore and Washington, D.C., so a very nasty time for traveling. Well, to cover this winter storm for the east, we have two Weather Channel crews covering the storm. First of all, we have Mike Seidel, who's located in Rockville, Maryland, which is just northwest of Washington, D.C., and we also have Kristen Dodd in Worcester, Massachusetts. First of all, we go to Mike Seidel. Good morning, Mike. What's the latest from Maryland?
And Cheryl, right here we have the freezing rain continuing in Rockville. We're just outside of D.C. on I-270. And although the interstate is in very good shape this morning because there's been plenty of salt thrown on the highways and we're getting a lot of traffic, and with the temperature right around freezing, you normally don't have too many problems on heavily traveled roads. The overpasses and the bridges over this interstate, very, very slippery. In fact, we just heard that the Shady Grove overpass, there's been several cars spitting out. So again, as you approach the bridge, the best chance to save the risk of spinning out is to brake before you get to the bridge. Do not brake on the bridge. And those elevated surfaces will remain slippery through at least the middle of the afternoon. Slowly, temperatures should creep up above freezing But out there in Frederick County, Loudoun County, out towards Front Royal, Martinsburg, those areas out towards the Shenandoah Valley, significant icing is very likely, and we could have some power line problems later on tonight as the ice accumulates on the trees and power lines. But again, in the immediate D.C. area, there shouldn't be any serious road problems except on the elevated surfaces. Also watch the sidewalk as you head out the door, say for lunchtime or this afternoon. It may be a bit slippery. Heading up north, though, this moisture is going in that direction. There's plenty of cold air in place. That sets the stage for another wintry storm. But will it be ice or will it be snow? Let's find out now from Kristen Dodge. She's live from Worcester. Kristen?
Thanks a lot, Mike. Well, at this point, it does look like we are going to see the precipitation come down just in the form of snow, which is really good news here. Much better scenario than the freezing rain that can really cause some problems on the roadways. In the past half hour, we have noticed a few changes here in Worcester. Throughout the morning, it's been sunny and cold. Now, we are beginning to see a few of those clouds moving in, kind of thickening and lowering just a bit, and that is definitely a sign of things that are moving our way. That moisture is heading in our direction, running into very cold air, and those clouds by tonight will be dropping the snow here in Worcester. And some of those snow bursts could be heavy at times. Also over to our west in the Berkshires, we also do expect the potential for accumulating snow. Closer to the coastline, about 50 miles to our east in Boston, you'll see the snow and freezing rain. And then over toward the Cape, it looks like it's just going to be all rain and windy. Potential for beach erosion out toward the shore tonight. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Kristen. We appreciate the update, and we'll be checking back with you later this morning as the weather continues to go downhill. Now, temperatures across the Northeast will play a crucial role in today's weather. Currently across the Potomac River and much of the Mid-Atlantic, temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. So there is that possibility for more freezing rain. But farther to the north, temperatures really fall off markedly in the teens and lower 20s around Boston and Albany. So definitely temperatures are cold enough for ice and snow. Watching out for some very treacherous traveling conditions heading out around the Boston metro area later tonight. Likewise for New York City, starting up maybe around lunchtime, a chance for some ice and some snow. And certainly the Shirley Highway and Capitol Beltway around Washington, D.C. also becoming quite treacherous and dangerous today. Moisture continues to flow up through the northeast from the southwest to the northeast. And as the atmosphere continues to moisten up, we'll watch the ice and snow developing for most areas. Heaviest snows today near the Poconos and spreading across the lower Hudson Valley, and some hefty snows too for the Berkshires of Massachusetts. Their winter storm warnings remain posted for tonight. And unfortunately, Friday not shaping up to be a whole lot better with that wintry mixture continuing, the ice for the Mid-Atlantic and the ice and snow invading the New England states by later tonight and tomorrow. Well, of course, if you're away from your TV set,